Okay, so in this video, I wanted to give you just an idea of what the testing materials will look like. I'll upload this document on Moodle as well, so you can look at it on your own as well. So basically, it just consists of an informational section where you're going to record who took these notes. So in bigger user studies, there might be 3 or 4 facilitators, different people who are taking turns running this usability study, and there might be several observers. So who is making these notes? It's important to know who took these notes. So you're going to have a section for the note taker, the date on which this happened. So you know exactly whether these study notes are from the date when the prototype was in version 1 or version 2. So that could be one reason for recording the date. Also, the location could be an important factor as well, that you might assign numbers to participants and the time at which you conducted the study. And then after this, then you will have the section on that describes the purpose of the study. And then you will have a section where you will inform the user about their rights. And so basically what I'm trying to show here is that you will write down everything that you need during the user study on a piece of paper, so you have easy access to all the material and you are not appearing confused in front of the user. So write down the purpose of the study on this sheet, write on all the user rights, an overview of the user study, what's going to happen in the user study. And then this part is mainly for you, where you're going to record all the different things that you're going to observe during the usability testing. So like I said, you can ask the user to perform the different tasks. So the user might be asked to perform 5 or 6 different, or maybe in this case 7 to 10 tasks. So for each task, you're going to write down the name of the task. So in this case, the task is called sports or fitness. And then the description of the task is asking the user to figure out how to do something on the app. And then this is optional, if you want to have a space to record anything that the user is asking you, you can record it here. And then this section where you're going to record all the metrics. So you, for example, this column is recording whether the task was completed successfully or not, whether the task was completed with help, easily completed, and the number of errors that were made, the number of type 1 errors, type 2 errors, or type 3 errors. And then you might be interested in recording the task completion time. So you might just record the start time and the end time. And then another column could be about recording the, making notes about, why the user was successful or not. What was confusing, what kind of complaints the user made, and where the user got stuck, which button confused the user a lot. So any observations, any interesting facts that you observed during the study, this is what you're going to record here. So then you're going to have this exact same thing for each task. So right now I have this for task 1. So I can just copy and paste all this part and create the same thing for task 2. Okay, so you can make sure that you have all this information there. And then when the user is done with all the tasks, then this section is consisting of all the questions that you want to ask the user that are not the survey questions. So survey is not compulsory. It's optional. So you might just want to ask them questions. That's maybe what your goal is. But you might have both survey or questions, so depending on what you want to do. So you should write down all your questions here first, and then before you go to the user study, make sure that these questions are comprehensible. They can be easily understood by the user by pilot testing them with your colleagues or friends. Okay, so these are some example questions here. You can have any question that you want here. All right, so I'm going to upload this link on the website on Moodle. Okay, so this is an example of a survey that is very popularly used in a usability evaluation. So as you can see that it consists of 10 questions, and the user can answer these questions on the scale, so from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Yeah, so this is a type of survey that you can use. If you're not interested in using this survey, then you can make your own survey, and I recommended that your survey, if you're going to make your own, you might as well try to find out whether your user experience goals were met or not. And the last part that I talked about was reporting these results of a survey. So what is this report supposed to look like? So this is kind of, I'm just giving you an example of what it can look like. So you can have your questions here. So your question was, did the interface meet the target user experience goals or not? So these were your target user experience goals. And then you can report whether how many people strongly agreed that the interface provided this goal or not, met this goal or not. Okay, so in this case, the goal of fun was, people thought that it was fun to use, so 5 people strongly agreed it was fun. So, and 1 person agreed with it, 2 were neutral, but overall it seems like it was the user interface was successful in meeting the fun goal. Motivation goal, as you can see, was not very well achieved. So this is something that the designer will have to work on. And then the collegiality is something that also you were able to meet very successfully. So then this is how you can present the results of the survey. And so you, in addition to the survey, you also collected some performance metrics. You also need to report the results of the performance metrics. So here I'm showing you, like how you can do it. So you can report for each task. For example, if one of your performance metric was to find out how long it took the user to perform each task, then you can present the results in the form of a table where you can tell us the mean task completion time for task 1 was 1 minute 4 seconds. The medium was 1 minute 15 seconds, standard deviation, so on and so forth, whatever is your goal. So this is an example of reporting one of the performance metric. Another performance metric maybe that you were interested in targeting was finding out how many errors the user made for each task. So in this table, you can see that the user, you're reporting that task 1, on average, 4 errors were made by users. And for task 2, 2 errors were made on average. And for task 3, 3 errors were made on average. Okay. And maybe one of your survey question was the task completion time acceptable to the users, to the target users, and you might have collected this information as well. So then you can report the results to these results as well. And then the last thing that you gathered from the user was their qualitative information, right? The qualitative feedback of the user. So in this section, so to report qualitative feedback, you basically try to report the trends. That okay, so most of the users thought that the colors were very refreshing. The colors looked fresh. The color choice was really good. Some users thought that the button should be placed in the center of the screen. So so this is how you can report the qualitative feedback from the user. So I'm going to post all these 3 documents on Moodle for your reference.